This is Red, White, and Bluegrass.
Governor Andy Beshear penned a post-election op-ed this week for the New York Times advising a way forward for the Democratic Party after big election losses. Beshear said the focus of the party must return to creating jobs, making health care more affordable and accessible, safer roads and bridges, as well as providing better education and safer communities.
What most people miss is if you don't feel secure in all of those things, you don't get to whatever offense of the day happened in Washington, D.C., or whatever crazy thing somebody in politics said that day. It's a recognition that people's everyday worries have to be addressed. And to earn trust, and one of the reasons I think I won re-election was showing up every day with a relentless focus on making people's life better in those key areas.
Journalist Al Cross also penned an op-ed this week referencing the New York Times op-ed as one example of Beshear's positioning for possible presidential ambitions. Representative Brown, I want to start with you here. Do you think that this message works, and is it something that the Democrats are already exhibiting now? And if so, is that being reflected among state-level Democrats where there's not as much legislative power right now?
If I may, just quickly, I want to deviate a little bit. I was listening to on Lawrence O'Donnell last night. Pete Buttigieg was on, and he was talking about the accomplishments and I'll get back to that, but the accomplishments of Joe Biden and Joe Biden's presidency and the things that he has done to bring America forward from 4 years ago. The ARPA, American Rescue Plan, the infrastructure bill, and the CHIPS bill that has created many jobs. That most of, especially infrastructure, is going to take 10 to 15 years for those to take effect in America. And unfortunately, people will forget that Joe Biden was the catalyst behind making that happen. So I think it's real important that we talk about being authentic. And I think that's what Governor Beshear talked about. And in terms of relating to constituents and to people in the community, authenticity means so much for people, and going to work and not just giving it lip service, but putting the shoulder to the plow, if you will, and making things happen. And I think that the Biden administration, even though there were a lot of people that had problems with it, but the Biden administration got things done. It didn't wait and say, well, we're going to have infrastructure week, we're going to have infrastructure month. He didn't. That started doing the infrastructure thing. And in Kentucky, the bridge between Covington and Cincinnati got done. It's paid for, and there's going to be dirt moving with that at sometime in the very near future. So I think it's about results. And I think that this administration, the Biden administration, and my friend may disagree, but I think the Biden administration has gotten results for America, and I think that's what Governor Beshear is talking about.
Well, let's bring in Representative Timoney. I know that many in the General Assembly have often kind of portrayed whenever the governor, is taking credit for things, he maybe is taking credit for too much things. How do you see it? I mean, is he making an effective argument here, or is it just political posturing?
Well, I think there are two things I want to address with this. First, I think he's exactly right that the Democratic Party in general is focusing 10,000 feet up on national level issues. And the reason why I believe that Republicans have been successful is they're worried about the price of eggs. Not that Democrats aren't, but the Republicans, in particular in Kentucky, are the ones who are in the driver's seat shaping that. And I think that that's the 6 inches in front of your face is where people feel like they want support right now. And I think that, and I know Representative Brown and I agree on the most important politics are local politics. We can sit here and we can banter about presidential nominees all day long, but he and I both know that the traffic lights need to work out front. The roads need to be good driving home. We're going to be driving by good public schools, and we're going to be driving by businesses that are open and are not shuttered. Like, those are the things that are most important to people, and I believe that the Democratic Party got away from that, and they were focusing on more lofty issues that don't necessarily hit home. And what people want right now is things hitting home. The second part of that is I read the op-ed, and yes, he did take a lot of credit for bills he signed into law that were passed by the General Assembly in Kentucky. And I think that's an important part. He was stating that things like insulin, capping the cost of insulin, telehealth services, the social things that are important, or even the medical things that are important, he signed them into law. He did, but those bills were Republican-sponsored bills. And I think that that's a really important part. that he left out. So.
That's an interesting point, because when you understand
Very quickly.
the government and how it works, it's about who's in power and which party is operating from a position of power.
It's a pendulum, it swings back and forth.
Yes.
Thank you both for your insight. We'll be right back with Point of Order.